The dotted lines of the highway slip under your tyres in slow procession, a lullaby written in tar and fatigue. Your hands rest gently on the wheel, too gently, like they're afraid to wake it. Every so often, the fog parts just enough to show the yellow stripes again, then swallows them slowly, like sleep creeps up on thoughts you forgot to silence. There's a humming in the engine that doesn't belong to the car, a rhythm you know from somewhere else, from somewhere before. It vibrates not just through the steering column, but through your ribs, as if something inside is answering. The radio is off, but you can hear it anyway. There are no road signs, but there are suggestions. A flicker of light to the left, behind a curtain of mist. The outline of a turn signal blinking in a rearview mirror, not your own. A motel shape hunching behind the trees, unfinished, or remembered wrong. You lean forward slightly. Your breath fogs the glass. And for a moment, in the blur of condensation and reflected instrument lights, you see something written in your own handwriting. Welcome to Whispers Beyond Midnight. Only you don't remember writing it. And the breath that left those words on the glass doesn't feel like yours. The fog deepens. So does the quiet. No insects. No engines. Just the low pressure of the night pressing against the cabin. The sound of rubber on road. And a faint tick from the dash clock that isn't counting seconds. It's counting something else. Every few minutes, a shape appears in the periphery. Long legs, too many joints. Not deer, not anything from a field guide. But you keep your eyes forward, like you were told. It's impolite to look directly at passengers in their lane. You switch to high beams. The fog thickens in protest. Swirls, refuses. The light bounces back like memory. Too bright, too harsh, not helpful. Somewhere in the mist, something sighs, and it sounds like tires deflating in reverse. The seatbelt tightens without warning, just a little, like it's remembering your shape from before. You glance at the side mirror. It shows the motel again. But the angle's wrong. You shouldn't be seeing it from here. You blink, and the radio turns on by itself. A woman's voice, distant and echoing, says a name that sounds like yours, but not quite. You reach for the dial. It's gone. A sign appears ahead. You slow down without thinking. The letters don't glow. They flicker, like a bulb underwater. They say, "Rest stop 11, you have always been driving." You don't remember the last time you stopped. You don't remember beginning. Maybe you never did. You pass it. The road yawns forward. Gentle, persuasive. The yellow lines return for a while. They calm you. But that air inside the car is colder now. As if someone rolled down the window, just a crack, and forgot to roll it back up. You reach to check. The handle is wet. You didn't drive through rain, did you? The headlights stretch ahead like a pair of reaching hands. Pale, expectant. But the fog refuses to yield. It pulses like a breath. A lung full of something not yours. And through that breath, the humming returns. A low, slow sound that winds behind your ears and into your chest. It doesn't hurt. It just settles. Familiar. Like the weight of a name you've carried too long. You ease your foot back onto the gas. The tires respond as if they never stopped. And the road welcomes you back. Wherever it's going, you don't need to know. Not yet. Let the miles tell you in sleep. There's something about the way the speedometer stays steady, unnaturally steady, that makes you feel like the road is moving beneath you, not the other way around. As though you've become stationary, suspended in the shell of a car that was once yours, while the landscape rotates beneath its wheels, in soft, silent loops. You rest your left hand against the window. It's cool, not cold, just distant, like it's not really there, or not quite in sync with your own pulse. You can't see anything past the glass, just a faint glow, pulsing now and then, like a lighthouse wrapped in wool. But there's no coast here, just trees. Fog, more trees, then less. The dashboard clock has stopped blinking. You didn't notice when, but it's stuck now at 3:33. Not counting, not resetting, just holding its breath. You turn the dial on the radio again. Static, thin as paper, folds outward. You hear a cough in the interference, like someone caught mid-sentence. Then silence. Then a single note, like a piano key struck underwater, held and held, until it curls back in on itself like a question no one asked. You blink slower than before. The interior of the car begins to blur at the edges. You know what's here. You know the steering wheel, the vent that never closes, the crack in the passenger side cup holder. But now it all feels performed, as if you're reenacting the memory of a drive rather than driving. You press the brakes. Nothing happens. Not because they fail, because they're already down. You're not slowing down, because you already did. Something shifts in the trunk. A soft thud, then nothing. You don't check, not because you're afraid, but because you already know what it is. And it's better to let it sleep. The road curves without permission. You turn with it, like muscle memory from a body you haven't inhabited in years. The trees on either side seem to lean closer, not maliciously, just curious. You're not from around here, not anymore. Your rear-view mirror is dark, not from shadow, but from absence. Like the past behind you has dissolved into fog and never hardened back into memory. You touch the mirror. Your fingers disappear into the surface, just slightly, as if it's water, or something thinner. Then a voice, not your own, but spoken through your teeth. Turn off the high beams. You didn't speak it, but your jaw moved. And when you obey, when you flick the switch and the lights dim, the landscape sighs, relieved, grateful. The fog eases, only a little. Now you can see them, outlines in the trees, thin, upright figures, too tall, too still, like old telephone poles with their wires cut. You keep your eyes on the road. You don't flinch. You've seen them before. You just forgot where? The glove box rattles once, as if coughing politely. You reach down, open it slowly, and pull out a cassette tape, unlabeled, smudged, slightly warm. You didn't put it there, but you're not surprised. The radio flickers again, a faint whisper. It doesn't speak in words, just impressions. Childhood, mismatched socks, a mother's perfume, something you left behind at a gas station that no longer exists. You insert the tape. The voice that comes through isn't human, but it's not human. It sounds like your grandmother trying to remember your name through a telephone that isn't plugged into anything anymore. It doesn't ask you to keep listening. It assumes you will. So you do. And the road bends again, this time upward. You feel it in your stomach, the change in gravity. But the car doesn't notice. The tyres grip like you're still flat, and the sky, barely visible through the fog, no longer makes sense. Stars blink, too close together, too bright, like pinholes poked through canvas to let something else watch. The cassette keeps playing, and from the corner of your eye, something behind the rearview mirror smiles. There's a soft rattle coming from the door panel now. Not a mechanical sound, but something looser, like a bead or a tooth caught inside the plastic. You press your fingers against it. Feel the shape of the vibration, a kind of Morse code from within the vehicle, or perhaps beneath it. The lines on the road stretch longer between pulses of fog. Sometimes they flicker, like a film strip, skipping frames. Other times they change colour, not white, but dull amber, then grey, then red, like dried leaves on wet pavement. You can't remember what colour they're supposed to be. You don't care. You pass a sign without reading it, but the words stay with you anyway. Exit 3. Memory. You didn't think there were exits on this stretch, but you recognise the shape, not the place. The shape, like a smell from childhood, like a room you were punished in, long since repainted. You don't take the exit, but a part of you does. In the side mirror, a second car merges beside you. Same make, same rust spot on the rear door, same fuzzy dice hanging from the mirror. You glance at it briefly, and the reflection of the driver turns to meet your gaze. Your face. But it's blinking too slowly. You keep driving, let it pass. It doesn't. It stays with you, just behind your left rear wheel, like a tether or a delay. You think of your grandmother's hands, gnarled, paper thin, always clutching something, a rosary, a teacup, the air when words failed. She drove this road once, didn't she? Or told you about it? No, she warned you about it. In the story she told when the lights went out, the story that ended before it began. Some roads only go one way, she'd whispered, even if you turn around. You check the fuel gauge. Full. You don't remember filling up, but the scent of gasoline still lingers faintly in your sleeves, and the humming in the engine is back. No, not humming now. Breathing, in and out, with you, against you, slightly off sync like it's learning. You adjust the rearview mirror again. Behind you, nothing but fog, and yet a silhouette crosses the empty lane. Long legs, no face, just a motion that repeats. A loop. You blink. It's gone. But the feeling it left behind isn't. A sense of being watched by your own memory. Of something not following you, but preceding you. Like déjà vu walking on stilts. Your hands tighten on the wheel, though you don't remember commanding them. Your shoulders ache, not from tension, but from being held in place. As though the seat itself is bracing you for something. The air freshener dangling from the mirror. A pine tree, faded green, begins to spin without wind. It turns slowly at first, then stops abruptly, pointing toward the passenger seat. You glance over, still empty, but the indentation on the cushion is fresh. You look away. The radio crackles again. A child's voice, distorted. You left me at the mile marker. You try to respond, but your mouth doesn't open. Instead, the car does. The vents blow out fog. Not air, fog, and the windshield clouds from the inside. On the glass, written slowly, backward, Where were you going, really? You lift your hand to wipe it clean. But it's already vanished, like the question answered itself. You pass another sign. No words this time, just a drawing. A house with no windows, a driveway that loops, a car parked, with no one in it. The mirror tilts on its own this time. Not enough to startle, just enough to suggest something behind you that wasn't there a moment ago. You let it shift. You've learned not to resist the little movements. They're part of the rhythm now, like the breath of the fog, like the beat of the road when it forgets it's solid. What you see in the glass isn't a reflection. It's a memory trying to remember you. Trees out of order, a sign with letters reversed, tail lights curling into spirals instead of trailing off. Your reflection flickers, only once, but enough to reveal a blink that wasn't yours. The road straightens again, artificially straight, like it's been ironed flat by something that hates curves. Your car glides over it too smoothly, as if the surface is compensating for something you're not allowed to feel. You turn the dial on the radio, not to hear, but to listen. The difference matters. And now, you hear laughter. Distant, warped. A child's maybe, but it echoes through the speakers like it's bouncing off wet concrete, or the walls of a drainage tunnel that knows your name. It laughs again, then calls. You left your shape here. You don't answer, not aloud, but the windshield fogs up again, as if the car heard what you were about to say, and decided against it. You adjust the mirror. You try anyway. It doesn't respond. It shows you only the road behind. But the yellow lines are gone. What replaces them is a trail of something darker, like oil, or ink, or blood, from a memory that hasn't happened yet. You look forward again. A deer stands in the road. You swerve, but the car doesn't move. The deer watches you, eyes glowing not with light, but with recognition. It nods once, then vanishes like steam over ice. No impact, no sound, just the absence of motion that leaves your stomach suspended. The rearview mirror tilts again. Now you see something sitting in the back seat. A suitcase. You don't remember packing it, but you know what's inside. You knew it the moment you saw it. The same thing that used to live in your dreams when the power went out and your mother lit candles and wouldn't say why. The road begins to hum beneath you again, louder this time, like it's remembering a song you used to hum under your breath as a child. A lullaby about wolves, or headlights, or forgetting how to turn around. You glance out the side window. The trees are still there, but not in the right order. Pine, oak, birch, pine, birch, birch, pine. Too symmetrical, like they were placed there to mislead you. A flicker in the corner of your eye. You don't turn, but the mirror turns for you. And this time, what it shows isn't the road, it's you, in a different car, smiling a second too late. Eyes that don't blink unless watched. The mirror goes black. The radio cuts. And your hands keep driving. Even though your breath just stopped. Just for a moment. You don't remember turning the dial, but the radio hisses awake again, soft, like steam slipping beneath a locked door. At first, just static. Then, the unmistakable tone of a test pattern held a second too long, the kind they don't use anymore. A voice fades in, grainy, warped with age. This is station. The signal stutters. 3, 3, 3, then silence, then a sound like breath being held across vast distance, then her voice. It's your name, not your real name, the one you buried, the one you forgot how to pronounce. You ease back in your seat, letting the steering wheel guide itself. The road curves like a question you've already answered. You feel the lane lines passing under you like ticking clock hands. Every beat a reminder that you're still moving forward, even if time isn't. You glance down at the speedometer. 0. But the trees are still sliding past, and the wind still taps at the windows, as if trying to get your attention. A memory bleeds in. You are 7 years old, clutching your grandfather's flashlight, the one that flickered if you breathed too hard. He warned you never to shine it into a mirror. It shows you the version of yourself that stayed, he said. You laughed. He didn't. The light in the cabin dims, not because the bulbs flickered, because the outside world is swallowing its own colour. You look at the clock again. Still 3:33, still waiting. On the radio, music begins. Not notes, not melody, just the rhythmic sound of drawers opening, a suitcase zipper, a match striking again and again. Then a knock from inside the glove box. You open it. Inside, a small mirror, cracked. No reflection, just the sound of a woman crying behind glass. You close it quickly. The radio volume rises on its own. The soundscape changes. Footsteps. A hallway. Your hallway. You don't remember giving the station permission to broadcast your dreams, but you keep listening, because turning it off would mean silence. And silence means remembering. The lines on the road vanish again. In their place, tiny symbols etched into the pavement, sigils, maybe, or child's drawings in tar. A motel sign passes by too quickly to read, but you catch a flicker in its neon. You never left. You press harder on the gas, not to flee, just to stay ahead of whatever is catching up inside you. Your rear view is still black, but now your side mirror shows a face. Yours. Sleeping. Eyes fluttering like they're dreaming of a road with no fog. You blink. The mirror clears. The face is gone, but your mouth still tastes like motel soap. The radio clicks again. Back to static. Then, faintly, don't use your name again. You nod. Not because you agree, but because they're right. And now, the fog pulses in time with your heartbeat. You turn the dial again. The signal returns. The voice asks, "Are you listening now?" And this time, you don't answer. But the high beams flick off on their own. You don't open the glove box again, not yet, but it's breathing now, quiet, shallow, like something inside is trying not to wake you, or maybe trying not to let itself be remembered. You stare at the outline of it in the dim cabin light, the way the panel bulges just slightly, as if whatever's in there doesn't quite fit anymore. You didn't put anything there. That's what bothers you. Or maybe you did, a long time ago, when the car still belonged to someone else, someone you almost were. The road straightens again, but it feels wrong, too perfect, like a drawing or a stage set. You drive through it like an actor afraid to break character. Your fingers brush the steering wheel. It's sticky, sweet. The scent is faint but familiar. Syrup, maybe? Maple. No. It's birthday cake, but stale, like the memory of a celebration you missed. You reach for the air vent and twist it away from your face, but the air coming out isn't cold. It's warm, almost wet. like a breath, like someone sighing through the ductwork. You turn your head slowly. The rear seat looks empty again, but the indentation has deepened, more settled. Something's been sitting there for a while, long enough to leave an impression. Your hand drifts against your better judgment toward the glove box latch. You pull. It opens slowly with a soft creak that echoes too loudly in the tiny space. Inside, resting atop a stack of yellowing napkins and an old motel keycard, is a photograph. You lift it gently. It shows a car. This car, parked beneath a flickering gas station light. The timestamp reads 3:33 a.m. The driver's door is open, but no one's inside. Behind the car, in the window's reflection, is a figure, tall, still, holding something that glints. You flip the photo over. A sentence, scrawled in jagged ink. You were never alone on this stretch. You blink. The photo disappears from your fingers, slips between seconds. You look down. Nothing in your hand. Nothing in the box. But the motel keycard remains. You pick it up. It's blank on one side. On the other, room 11. No hotel name. No branding. Just that. Room 11. The car begins to slow. Not by your foot. Not by terrain. Just as if the road itself is pulling you back. Like the car is obeying something deeper than gravity. You don't see the building until it's already beside you. A structure half submerged in the fog, pulsing like a heartbeat. Its neon sign flickers weakly, reading only R11 vacancy. The missing letters seem intentional. You keep driving, because stopping now would feel like waking up in the wrong body. The glove box slams shut on its own. You don't flinch. But the radio turns back on. Just a voice, humming, not singing, humming the same lullaby your mother used when you were too old to be tucked in, but still begged her not to leave the room. You hear her footsteps leaving. You remember that part. But this time, she never comes back. The switch clicks beneath your thumb with barely a sound. High beams off. The light softens, dissolves into the fog instead of fighting it, and the world feels less hostile, more intimate, like it's leaning in to whisper something you already almost knew. With low beams on, the trees come closer, not in movement, but in presence. You don't remember them growing this near to the roadside. Now their trunks stand like figures holding breath, their branches lowered as if listening. Birch, pine, oak, all bowed towards the passing of your vehicle, like mourners at a midnight procession. You slow down, not by decision, but by instinct, reverence. The road has stopped humming. The engine idles, soft as a purr. You can almost hear your heartbeat now, faintly echoing in the silence. Except, it isn't your heartbeat. Not entirely. It's off by half a beat, slightly delayed. A staggered rhythm, echoing from somewhere beneath the dashboard. You speak aloud, just your name, to remind yourself that you have one. The fog swallows the sound before it touches the windshield. And somewhere, inside the air vent, something responds with a murmur. You check the side mirror. Nothing. Then again, a flicker. The woods are blinking, slowly, like eyes that forgot how to stay shut. The road narrows ahead, not physically, but conceptually, you get the sense that choices will soon become implied, not offered. Like a dream that only lets you open the wrong doors. The low beams catch a shape just ahead. A sign, painted by hand. White brush strokes barely clinging to a splintered wooden board. It reads, "Turn back off." Then beneath it, scratched hastily, "We miss your silence." You drive past it anyway. Something small taps your windshield from above. Not rain. You glance upward. A feather. Just one. Floating downward. Drifting like ash. Brushing the glass and disappearing. Then another. Then none. The glove box vibrates again. Not a knock this time. More like breathing, shallow and quick. You reach down, but stop. Because now the fog ahead clears briefly, and what lies beyond makes your chest go still. It's your old neighborhood, but distorted, melted. The sidewalk curls upward at the ends like a frozen smile. Street lamps bend inward like they're whispering secrets to each other. A tricycle stands upright in the middle of the road, rusted, but still spinning. You blink, gone. Just the trees again. Just the curve of the road, waiting like a sentence missing its final word. You glance at the clock. Still 3:33. But the colon is pulsing now. Each beat like a tiny inhale. The dashboard lights dim further. Not from power failure, but from caution. The air grows thick, sweet, like overripe fruit left in the heat too long. You lower the window a crack. A whisper drifts in. One syllable, repeated, over and over. You can't make it out, but your mouth starts mimicking it anyway, without sound. Without consent. The car drives on, and in the woods, something begins to follow. Not beside you, not behind you, but just ahead, where your lights don't reach. The first droplet hits your windshield with an almost apologetic tap, then another, then several, but they don't trickle downward. They drift upward, against gravity. Against memory, like the sky is remembering how to weep, but has forgotten the direction grief should go. The wipers don't help. They smear the droplets into translucent ribbons, then pause mid-swipe. You don't try again. The glass is no longer for seeing through, it's for reflecting. And in the reflection, not your face. Not quite. Your shape, yes. But your mouth is slightly parted in a breath you didn't take, and your eyes are already watching something you haven't seen yet. You look away. The fog thickens at the edges of the world. It doesn't consume, it preserves, suspends. A slow-motion snowfall of water rising upward, drawn towards some unseen ceiling. It's beautiful. In the way forgotten lullabies are beautiful, only when you don't remember how they end. The road grows slick, not wet exactly, but textured with memory. You feel it in the way the tires hesitate, not skidding but resisting, like driving over old photographs. You glance to your left. The trees are taller now, sharper. They don't move, but you get the sense that they know something is about to arrive. The rain lifts in slender arcs, curving gently as if guided by invisible strings. And through that silver veil, shapes emerge. Faint silhouettes, flickering between droplets. Long coats, no faces, just outlines. Like people remembered only by the clothes they were buried in. One of them raises a hand. You flinch, but your foot presses on the gas. Not to escape, but to arrive faster. The radio clicks. A woman's voice. Your grandmother again. but reversed. Her words are backwards, syllables tumbling into one another, but the tone is unmistakable. She's telling you a story, the one about the mirror in the motel bathroom, the one that didn't show reflections, only substitutions, a mirror that remembered faces better than the people who wore them. The windshield fogs again from the inside. A phrase appears, written by no hand. When you forgot, it began. You open your mouth, but the air is filled with static now. Not from the speakers, from the cabin. A hissing like tape unraveling. A sound like whispers crawling over broken film. You touch your chest. Your seatbelt has vanished. You don't remember removing it. You reach to your right. The passenger seat holds your coat. You weren't wearing one, but it's your coat, and something is breathing beneath it. Slow, steady. You don't look. You don't look. Instead, you glance back at the windshield. The rain is gone. The droplets now hover mid-air, suspended, trembling. And then, slowly, they begin to fall backward, upward again, back into the sky. The rearview mirror shivers, not shakes, shivers. You know what it wants to show you. But this time you close your eyes and drive. You don't hear the whisper so much as feel it. Cool breath against the curve of your ear. A voice too soft to understand but too precise to ignore. Your eyes remain fixed on the road, but something in your spine tightens. Not fear, recognition. The whisper repeats. One word, then two. Not English, not sound, really. More like a thought placed inside your hearing, like a voice underwater mouthing secrets through the currents. You turn your head slowly, instinct dragging your gaze toward the passenger seat, still empty, but the indentation is deeper now. Pressed into the fabric is a single impression. 5 fingertips near the edge of the cushion, lightly scorched, as though someone was trying to brace themselves for a turn that never came. You reach across the seat, not to touch, just to be sure your hand passes through the space. It doesn't. It rests against something warm. Breathing. You withdraw, slowly, carefully. The whisper returns, closer, this time from inside your left ear. The same sound. Not speech, not quite breath. Something older. You glance at the glove box, still shut, but vibrating, not just from movement, from intent. You ignore it. The radio turns on again, this time playing something familiar. A nursery rhyme, warped, slowed, twisted into minor key. Row, 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 your road, gently past the scream. You shut it off, but the sound continues. Only now, it's coming from the vents. You reach for the temperature dial. It's already off, already cold. Still, the air hisses softly, hums, whispers. Something clicks in the passenger side door. A lock disengaged? Or invited? You don't check. Instead, you glance into the side mirror. A face, but not one you know. Not yet. It smiles, just for a moment, then flickers. And your own face returns, confused, blinking too late. The fog thins slightly, just enough for the next sign to emerge. Rest stop 11. Your voice is waiting inside. You don't signal, but the car begins to turn. The exit ramp unfolds like a tongue from a mouth that's forgotten how to speak. You grip the wheel harder. The tires scrape gravel. Then the ramp dissolves, gone. The road continues forward, as if the offer never existed. You exhale, but your breath forms a different shape on the windshield than your lips moved. a spiral drawn in fog from the inside. The whisper returns, but not near, now beneath, from under the seat. A child's voice, distant, repeating, "I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here." You press your hand against the seat cushion. It beats once, like a second heart. You pull your hand back, and the whisper stops, not fades, stops, cut clean. You glance at the mirror again. No face, no road, only static. And in the passenger seat, a faint shape, curled slightly away from you, covered in your coat, sleeping. You tell yourself not to speak, but your mouth, dry and slow, opens anyway, and the voice that comes out isn't yours. The fog parts briefly, enough for the outline of an exit sign to emerge, green, glowing faintly like bioluminescent algae, too alive for metal. The numbers are wrong, tilted, shifting. First it says 11, then 1, then 11. Again, flickering like a motel vacancy sign caught between decisions. You reach for the turn signal, even though you don't remember choosing to. Your fingers flick the stalk gently, and that indicator ticks with a sound that's just a little off. Too wet, too slow, like a grandfather clock ticking inside a flooded room. The ramp appears suddenly. It isn't paved. It isn't finished. You drive onto it anyway. The gravel crunches beneath the tires in a way that suggests bones or broken promises. Something granular, intimate, like history turned to powder. The incline is steep, but you're not climbing. You're folding. Downward, inward, like a road built inside the memory of a descent. On your left, the trees vanish. No more silhouettes, just open grey. A wide, pulsing fog field that hums as if alive. There's no guardrail, but the road doesn't let you fall. Not yet. Ahead, a structure, half formed, as if someone started building a motel from a photograph that was too blurry to follow. Planks held up by string, neon letters still in crates. A parking lot painted with crooked lines that don't lead to anything. You slow. The engine purrs like it knows this place, like it stopped here before. You find an empty spot, not chosen, given, and the headlights cut out on their own. Darkness, silence, but not emptiness. You step out. The gravel beneath your shoes shifts like teeth adjusting. You don't lock the door. It wouldn't matter. You move toward the unfinished lobby. There's no door, just plastic sheeting flapping in a wind that doesn't blow. Inside, a front desk. No clock, just a bell. You reach to ring it, only to realize it's already vibrating, like it never stopped ringing. You check the counter. A key rests there. Room 11. Same as the card in your glove box. But this key is warm and faintly wet. You take it. It doesn't resist. In fact, it seems to lean towards your hand. As you walk towards the hallway, walls grow from the fog, brick by brick, one with each step. The motel is building itself around your momentum. Each room number you pass is familiar, but wrong. Room 3, the smell of your grandmother's apartment. Room 5, the sound of your own scream, aged and reversed. Room 8, a lullaby being hummed through metal grating. You arrive at room 11. The number is drawn in chalk, faint, and beneath it, come back inside your voice. You don't knock. The knob is cold, but not unfriendly. You turn it, inside, your car, parked, idling, empty, lights on. But this time, the high beams are off. You're back in the car before you realise it. Seatbelt tugging gently across your chest, hands already resting where they belong, the steering wheel humming with the ghost of motion. The motel is behind you now, or maybe beside you, or maybe still ahead, but you passed it anyway. You check the mirrors. In the left one, darkness. In the right one, a field of lights gently flickering like tail lamps from miles away. And behind you is you. A car, same model, same dent in the side door, same flicker in the right blinker that never quite syncs with the beat of the road. It's gaining on you, smoothly, patiently, like it knows you'll let it pass. You don't speed up, you don't move over, you just breathe. The radio clicks back on, uninvited, a familiar voice this time, yours. Not speaking though, singing, humming that old tune again, the one you've never been able to forget even though you never learned it. The car behind gets closer. Its headlights stretch forward, but they don't cast light. They cast memory. Your skin begins to buzz. Not from fear, from recollection. From the echo of a night just like this, years ago. Or minutes. Or maybe not yet. You pass a road sign. It reads, "Merge with caution." You've already arrived. You switch lanes. The car behind you does the same. A perfect mirror, but not quite. Its silhouette is softer, a little darker, like it hasn't decided what shape to wear yet. You watch it. It watches you. It doesn't blink. You do. It flickers, then surges forward, pulls beside you. You glance sideways, heart slowing. Your window glass is fogged, on the inside only. But you still see enough. Their face, it's yours. Except the eyes are closed, lips moving in a rhythm that matches your heartbeat. You want to look away, but you don't, because their hand lifts, presses flat against the inside of their window, and so does yours. You're mirroring them now. You're becoming the echo. And then they smile. Not wide, not sinister. Soft, resigned. Like someone watching a child remember the ending of a dream. Then their blink is out of time. Their signal flashes left. And they vanish into fog. You check the rearview mirror. No lights. No car. No you. The radio still plays your voice, humming. But it's fading, warping, becoming static, becoming breath, becoming silence. You're alone again. But the road feels heavier, like someone else is still in the driver's seat. You twist the dial again, slower this time, fingertips trembling like they've been asleep too long. Each notch you pass should bring music, talk radio, the late night comfort of some stranger's voice drifting through a cheap microphone. But there's nothing now, just static, endless hungry static that spills from the speakers like dust through a keyhole. You press the dial inward. It doesn't click. Instead, the static changes tone, deepens. Not louder, not clearer, but closer, like it's no longer a signal, but a breathless whisper coming from inside the dash. You try to speak over it, say anything to drown it out, but your voice doesn't come. Your throat hums, but no sound emerges. The car answers for you. The static wavers, then parts, and through it, faintly, impossibly, comes the sound of your grandmother's voice. But wrong, like she's underwater or underground. The vowels stretch too long, the consonants slip past each other. You can't make out what she's saying, but the tone, the rhythm, is lullaby-shaped. You listen, you can't not. Your hands tighten on the steering wheel as if to anchor yourself in this reality, but the dashboard starts to flicker. First the gas gauge, then the odometer, then the clock, still stuck on 3:33, but now the numbers pulse like heartbeats. Outside, the road widens into a soft curve. The fog thickens, curling along the edges of your vision like curtain smoke in an old theatre. You're not driving anymore. You're being carried. The static deepens again. Now layered. Now polyphonic. Voices within voices. Some speaking, some crying, some just breathing over and over. You hear your own name repeated, but not how you say it. How it used to be said, long ago, by someone who left before you could ask why. You close your eyes for a blink, too long, and when you open them, you're somewhere else. Same road, but the trees are farther apart. The sky above is the wrong colour. Not black, not grey. Something like bruised glass. Something that watches. The radio hisses once more, then cuts. Now, silence. Thick, absolute. Until a click. Not from the speakers, from the glove box. You don't touch it. You've learned. Instead, you press your palm flat against the steering wheel. Feel the hum. It's a heartbeat now. Soft, regular, but not synced with yours. You glance at the side mirror. The forest reflects wrong. Mirrored, yes, but inverted like a smile turned inside out. The mirror warps slightly, just enough to show a flash of movement behind you. A shape, tall, unmoving, watching from the middle of the road you already passed. You blink again. Gone. The dashboard lights return, softer now. The FM dial is still glowing, but the numbers are gone. Just one word. Listen. You reach across the passenger seat for the flashlight you don't remember bringing. It's old. Plastic cracked at the handle, the switch rusted around the edges. Familiar in that way only forgotten objects can be. You hesitate before flipping it on. Then, a click. And the beam fires. Not outward, but inward. The car doesn't light up. Your chest does. The light pours into you, as if the beam were drawn backward, pulled behind your ribs, illuminating something beneath your breath. For a moment, your vision whites out, and the interior of the car pulses like an X-ray of memory. You drop the flashlight. It rolls across the floor mat, casting its light up onto the ceiling, which now looks less like fabric and more like the underside of water. A shape swims above you, slowly, watching. You don't speak. The radio crackles again, but only softly, like a reminder that it's still there, still waiting for something. It doesn't play music, it doesn't play voices. It just hums, mimicking the flashlight's slow flicker, as if they're speaking in coded rhythm. You check the glove box again, still sealed, but now it casts a shadow, not from the overhead lights, which are off, from something inside trying to remember its shape. Outside the windshield, the trees retreat. You don't see them moving, but now there's space, open, exposed space where the forest once leaned. The ground changes too. No more asphalt, no more gravel, just smooth surface, darker than road, lighter than sky, like you're driving across memory, like the path ahead it is made of your own thoughts, pressed flat. You lift your hand again, try the flashlight one more time. It clicks again, but this time the beam curls back toward your eyes, not blinding, just reflecting. You see yourself, but younger, but not really you, a version you never became. Eyes a little wider, shoulders less slumped, holding the same flashlight in the same seat and smiling, not at you, through you. Then gone. The light fades, the cabin dims. Outside something glows in the distance. A structure, tall, rectangular, humming faintly. A radio tower? A motel sign? You squint, but your eyes refuse to focus on it, as though your vision itself has signed a contract not to see too clearly. You reach to turn on the high beams. They don't respond. Instead, your reflection in the rearview mirror blinks independently. Not wrong, just unsynchronized. Then a whisper inside your chest, not from your ears. Some lights are meant to stay off. You lower your hand, and the flashlight clicks off by itself. It appears without warning, like all important things do, emerging from the sea not as a building, but as a suggestion of one. A soft shape, a glow in the air, a tilt in the direction your breath suddenly takes. A gas station, but not quite. The structure is there. Canopy overhead, rectangle walls, fluorescent tubes humming like trapped insects, but the pumps are missing. No hoses, no handles, just empty metal pedestals, like broken altar stands, waiting for a ritual no one performs anymore. You pull in. You don't remember turning the wheel. The tires crunch over gravel that glows faintly, like moonlight soaked into salt. You park beneath one of the lamp fixtures. It flickers, but never quite dies. The engine stops. You don't touch the key. Inside the building, a figure, behind glass, unmoving, watching. You step out. The night exhales around you, heavy, saturated, every sound muffled, like your ears are underwater. You shut the car door slowly, afraid that the slam might wake something older than sound. The figure behind the glass doesn't move. You approach. The automatic doors do not open. There is no motion sensor, but they part anyway. Inside, cold tile, overbright fluorescent lighting, and the faint smell of scorched dust. A single counter, no aisles, no merchandise, just rows and rows of empty shelves, lined with mirrors, all reflecting you. But none of them move when you do. You take one step forward. The reflection of your legs stays still for a moment too long, then catches up. At the far end of the room, the attendant stands behind the glass partition, motionless. You step closer. There's no register, only a speaker embedded in the glass, like in old security booths. It clicks. Static. Then, your name. But not the one on your ID. The one they whispered in school hallways. The one your grandfather said with a trembling hand the night before he vanished. You speak. Why am I here? The figure behind the glass smiles, a slight one, almost mechanical, then points downward. You look. A vending machine sits against the wall. You didn't see it before. Its display glows faintly, humming like the radio did earlier. Inside are keys, dozens of them, all rusted, all hanging from a string, some labelled, some blank. You step forward, press the button. No keypad, just a single pulsating circle. You press it. A key drops. You retrieve it. It's cold, engraved with a room number. Before. That's all it says. You turn back to the attendant. They're gone. The booth is empty. The mirror on the far wall no longer reflects you. Instead, it shows the road outside. And your car. Lights still on. Passenger door now open. You don't remember leaving it that way, but someone else might. The trunk isn't supposed to open by itself, but it does. You return to the car without remembering how you crossed the lot, your footsteps making no sound on the gravel. Only impressions, slowly filling with mist. The key in your hand hums faintly now, warm against your palm, as if it knows it belongs somewhere deeper than a lock. The trunk lifts slowly, not with a creak, but with a sigh. Inside, a suitcase. You know it instantly. Old, weathered, leather soft with time. The corner edges stitched with thread your grandmother once used for mending the clothes of people who never came back to pick them up. You never packed it, ever. But it smells like home. And something else. Familiar, but wrong. Ash and lilac. Rain and something metallic. Like breath held too long beside a forgotten telephone. The suitcase rises slightly. On its own, breathing. You don't touch it. You crouch beside the open trunk and stare at it. It pulses, expands, contracts. It doesn't rattle. It doesn't shake. It simply waits, alive with memory, as if the space within it loops backward towards some moment that hasn't happened yet. You whisper, "I left you behind." A pause. Then the faintest whisper from within. "No, you brought me." You glance at the fog curling over the lot. No signs. No exit. Only silence. Full and round and watching. The suitcase shifts again. The latch clicks. Not opens. Just clicks. As if to say, "I could." You reach forward, but before your fingers touch the leather, something inside shifts again. Not violently, gently, like someone rolling over in sleep. Then stillness. You lower your hand. The light overhead buzzes once, then dims. In that flicker, you see a reflection in the chrome of the trunk latch. A child's face. Yours. But older than it should be. Or younger than it ever was. Eyes closed, mouth slightly parted, as if whispering something you can't quite hear. You stand, shut the trunk. The latch snaps shut with the finality of an old photograph sliding back into an album. You get into the car again. The dashboard lights flicker once, then stabilize. The radio is silent, but the cassette player, long dead, long sealed, ejects a tape. You stare at it, handwritten on the label, "Do not play until forgotten." You leave it in the console. You don't ask what it means. You already know. You shift the car into drive. And as the wheels roll forward again, You feel the weight of the suitcase in the back. Not just the mass, but the presence. Something familiar, something held, like a memory curled into a corner, dreaming of becoming real. You feel it before you see it, a soft red glow pulsing on the inside of your eyelids, a heartbeat that's not your own. You open your eyes slowly, and the world outside the windshield has changed again. There's a car ahead of you now. It didn't pass you. It didn't merge. It wasn't there 5 seconds ago. But now, its brake lights shimmer just beyond the fog, suspended like twin rubies caught in syrup. They pulse with eerie precision, in time with your breathing, or maybe the other way around. You press the brake, just lightly. Your car doesn't respond, because it's already slowing. You don't remember lifting your foot from the gas. The red lights ahead remain fixed, unmoving. Like bait, you watch them. You wait. Nothing changes. Then they flicker. Once. Like the filament inside is remembering it's been broken before. You signal left. The indicator ticks lazily. The other car does the same. Same timing, same beat. You squint, try to make out its license plate, but the plate is blank. A white rectangle, clean, too clean, like no one ever issued it, like it's waiting to become yours. The fog parts just enough to show more of the car. Same shape, same rust pattern near the trunk, same sticker half peeled from the rear window, a motel logo that doesn't exist anymore. Your motel, your car. You blink, and your headlights illuminate the inside, just for a moment. In the driver's seat, a figure, still, forward-facing. They don't turn, but your fingers twitch on the wheel as if reacting to their presence, like a magnet feels another nearby. You try the horn. It doesn't respond. Instead, your radio crackles back to life. Not music, not voices, just your breathing. Amplified, played back through the speakers like a recording made long ago by someone listening too closely. Then behind the breathing, barely audible, a whisper. Pull over, let them pass. You grip the wheel tighter. Your reflection in the rear view doesn't match your movements. It glances right when you don't. It swallows when you're holding your breath. You tap the gas. The red lights ahead fade backward as if dragged away. But you haven't moved. The car remains still. Then the brake lights flare. Bright, blinding. The light bleeds into the cabin, impossibly strong, illuminating your dashboard, your fingers, the passenger seat. Still empty, still pressed, still occupied in the way absence sometimes is. You look down. Your feet aren't on the pedals anymore. You try to move them. They're asleep, numb, like you've been sitting too long inside someone else's memory. The glow fades. Outside, no car, just the road, and a thin trail of moisture stretching behind your tires. Not oil, not water. Tears? You don't ask. You just drive. And the fog closes again, gentle and absolute, like curtains drawn around a stage long after the actors have forgotten their lines. You should have recognized it the third time. That turn, that crooked tree, the torn billboard sagging just behind the fog. It whispered to you before, when it first passed by the windows. You thought it was new, but now, with the gravel shift under your wheels and the glint of that rusted sign again, rest stop 11, now, then always, you finally see it. You've been here before. You never left. You glance at the rear view mirror. The reflection shows you from a slightly different angle now. Your posture straighter, your eyes more alert. But that's not you. That's the version of you just behind, catching up again. One loop slower. You speak aloud, but your voice comes from the radio. A half-second delay. Your words, echoed and bent. The road doesn't end. Your voice answers, just slightly lower, slightly older. It loops. You press the gas, harder this time, but the car only hums, like it's sympathetic, not disobedient, just tired. The headlights catch a shape ahead. You grip the wheel. It's a building, the same gas station, pumpless, still humming. You don't stop, not this time. You pass it, watch it shrink in the side mirror. Only it doesn't shrink, it grows, stretches taller in the mirror, wide and vague like a memory blooming backward. You blink, gone. A curve in the road appears, same one as before. You know it now. The trees lean in at the same angle. The same feather drifts down across your windshield and dissolves mid-air. You whisper it again, not to test it, to confirm it. The road doesn't end. The fog whispers back. It loops. You reach for the cassette. The one marked do not play until forgotten. It's warm now, sticky, like it's sweating in your hand. You slide it into the player. A click, then silence, then a sound like a match being lit inside a tunnel, then static, humming like breath, then a voice. You've reached yourself. Please leave a memory after the tone. You don't remember what you lost, but the tears arrive anyway, soft, quiet, not from sadness, from recognition. Outside, the road straightens again. You could swear you see tire marks ahead, curved the way you just turned. Not someone else's, yours. But not yet. Your hands are trembling. You take them off the wheel. The car doesn't veer. It drives on, like it always has, like it always will, like this road was laid not in asphalt, but in you. The fog thickens again, but not in the world, on the glass. It starts from the edges of the windshield, curling inward like ivy grown from cold breath. Only it's not frost from the outside. You feel it blooming beneath your fingertips as you reach for the dash, spreading from within the cabin like a thought you try to suppress. You try the defroster. Nothing, only silence, and the faint sound of static dripping from the vents like condensation. Your fingers trace through the frost. It's soft, thin, almost like dust, but as you swipe, it forms around your motion, pulling into spirals, shapes, letters, not yours, not your handwriting, M-E-R-G-E. Then, just below it, still forming, backward and faint, you're getting close to her. You stare at the words, not because you understand them, because you don't remember asking a question. You press your palm flat to the windshield. The cold bleeds into your bones faster than it should, and when you pull away, your handprint stays for too long. It doesn't fade. It sinks inward, like a door opening. You blink. Now, you're not sitting in your car anymore. You're in the passenger seat. You snap your head left. The driver's seat is empty. The wheel turns slightly, correcting on its own. A low groan from the steering column. A cough from the exhaust. But the vehicle never slows. And outside, something's watching. A figure in the fog, just outside the reach of your low beams. Tall, still, not moving, but growing clearer, like it's stepping out from memory. You glance back to the windshield. Now it's full of frost again, except for a perfect oval in the centre, wiped clean. Through it, you see a motel. No vacancy sign, no cars, just one door, slightly ajar. Your headlights flicker once, as if nodding. Then, a knock, not at the window, at the rear door. 3 soft taps, measured, intimate. You don't turn, but the frost forms again, right beside your face, drawing itself into the shape of an eye. It blinks, and then a voice, clear and absolute. She's still in the room. You remember nothing, but the tears return, from somewhere deeper than memory. You return to the driver's seat without moving. The car is still driving, and in the frost, as it begins to fade, 3:33 is not a time. It's a door. The scent arrives first. Not strong, not urgent, just patient. A faint drift of something warm and flammable, curling in through the air vents like an old friend, returning without knocking. Gasoline, but dulled, sweetened, blended with the tang of something floral, something you wore once on your jacket before it was burned. The car doesn't slow. You don't open a window. Still, the scent thickens. It clings. You taste it now, behind your teeth, in your throat, under your tongue. Memory has a flavour, and tonight it's mixed with exhaust and lilac. You breathe shallow, not because of fear, but reverence. The scent is tied to something you've tried not to remember. A station wagon, a summer dusk, a pair of hands, yours, struggling with a pump handle while someone older stood behind you, murmuring instructions that turned into silence the moment the tank filled. The fog pulses with warmth, and the engine hums like it's remembering too. A roadside sign appears, wooden, cracked, burned at one edge. It reads, "You left something burning." Beneath it, scorched into the plank. It's still burning. You pass it without turning, but the smell intensifies. Now it fills the cabin. Now it seeps into the upholstery. You glance down at the seat beside you. A burn mark. Old. Circular. Like a lighter had been left there too long. But you've never smoked. Not this version of you. The radio clicks. Not on. Just alive. Then a voice. Childlike. Distant. Yours. But aged backward. "We didn't blow it out." And then a sound like striking a match. Over and over and over. Outside, the fog pulses again. Orange light flickers through the mist ahead. You think it's brake lights. You hope it's brake lights. But it wavers, dances. A fire, small, contained. Someone's made a circle of flame in the road. As you approach, the flames lower themselves, like bowing, or remembering their shape. The car passes through it. Nothing burns, but everything smells like it's about to. In the rearview mirror, you catch the smoke curling upward, then downward, then spiraling into itself. You look away. Your fingers smell like fuel now, and there's soot on your cheek. The road offers no explanation, only continuation, and the radio's soft whisper. Not everything forgotten is extinguished. You nod, not because you understand, but because you're afraid to disagree. The sign appears without sound, just light bleeding gently through the fog, letters emerging like bruises beneath skin. Rest stop, 11. No facilities. The smaller print flickers in and out, undecided. It says, open if remembered, closed if forgotten. You signal instinctively, though no one is watching. The turn-off feels softer than the road, like you're driving over a thought, not pavement. The gravel is coated in fine dust or ash, or the remains of stories no one told out loud. The parking lot is empty, but all the spaces are occupied. You can feel them, not cars, shapes, intentions. The building is small, squat, concrete weathered by rain that never fell. One flickering fluorescent bar hums above the door, its tone slightly off from the hum of the engine. The two notes grind against each other like teeth. You open your door slowly. It doesn't creak. It exhales. The air outside is still, but the wind chimes above the entrance sway without motion. They ring softly in a pattern you don't recognize, but your bones do. Inside the rest stop, there are no bathrooms, no maps, no vending machines. Only a single machine at the far end, glowing faintly. You walk toward it. The walls are lined with mirrors, but they're fogged over. You can't see yourself. Just the suggestion of motion, as though someone else is walking beside you, just a half second out of sync. The vending machine is humming. Its buttons don't have prices. Each one is labelled not with letters or numbers, but with feelings. Regret. Your father's voice. The last time she forgave you. And at the bottom, a single unmarked square. You press it. The machine clunks, delivers a key. Small, rusted, tied with a string. You lift it slowly. It's heavier than it looks. On the tag. Insert into silence. You turn. The exit door has vanished. Only a hallway remains. Narrow, dark. You walk it, not because you want to, because it's next. At the end, another door. It opens before you reach it. Beyond it, your car. Light still on, passenger seat still empty, but pressed. You sit, close the door. Don't remember the engine starting, but the car is moving. The vending machine key is in your coat pocket now, and your fingers are wet. Not from rain, but from condensation, as though you've been holding something cold, something metallic, something remembered. The radio plays nothing, but you hear a soft voice whisper, next time, don't leave the map. You look down. On the passenger seat, a folded napkin, drawn on it in trembling ink, a spiral leading back. The fog loosens just long enough to reveal motion ahead, a figure in the road, small, upright, barefoot. They walk like as if lost, yet confidently, as if returning. You lift your foot from the gas before you understand why. The car obeys without protest. It knows this rhythm. The figure becomes clearer. They're wearing your posture, your gait, your hesitation. You reach for the horn, but your hand finds only the sound of breath. The steering wheel pulses faintly in your grip. A vibration like indecision or recognition. The figure turns their head slightly, just enough to reveal a half profile. It's not your face, but it's one you've dreamed with. Eyes open too wide, smile too slow, as though borrowed, as though it doesn't belong to the bone beneath it. You veer left. The car shifts smoothly. No tires screech. The world simply reorients. You expect the figure to react. They don't. They duplicate. Now 2 of them stand just beyond your headlights, facing each other, blocking either lane. One looks older. One looks forgotten. You swerve again, but the road narrows. There's nowhere to go but through. Then, your headlights cut. Darkness. Absolute. Heavy. A breath in the cabin. Not yours. You keep your eyes forward. Can't see. Won't look back. Then the lights return. Dim. Dreamlike. The road is empty again, but your hands are trembling, and the passenger seatbelt is now buckled. You didn't do that. The radio clicks softly. A child's voice. That was close. She almost saw you. You open your mouth to speak, but the taste of soil fills your mouth. Memory of dirt. Not fresh, not clean, not alive. Burial dirt. You cough once softly, and the vents release a sigh. On the windshield, condensation forms words, not written, just implied. You can't avoid every version. Your headlights catch something hanging from a tree branch overhead. Fabric, a coat, no. A jacket, yours. Still damp from a rain that hasn't fallen yet. Still zipped up around a shape you don't want to identify. You look away. The white lines on the road flicker again. Not dotted anymore. Now they spiral. One long curve that tilts slightly to the right, leading somewhere you hoped to miss, but knew you wouldn't, because there is no swerve on a road drawn by your own hand, only re-entry. The dash is dark. Every needle sleeps. Every indicator has gone silent, except one. The clock, still glowing, still defiant, still 3:33. It pulses gently, now more organic than electric, like a second heartbeat laid inside the dashboard. Your chest answers it, not in rhythm, but in resistance. You want to look away, but the digits anchor you, not to the time, to the truth, that nothing outside this hour can reach you now, not the future, not the past, only this loop, this tireless breath of fog, this ghostlit stretch of road that continues, whether you do or not. You touch the clock with your finger. It's warm, too warm, like it's been held, recently, by someone else. Then you notice, the colon between the threes is no longer static. It blinks, slowly. Inhale, exhale. And with each pulse, the cabin lights dim and brighten, like the car is breathing with the time itself. The radio remains off, but your glove box creaks open an inch. You don't move, not yet, because the silence is beginning to tilt. First, the sound of paper being shuffled, then the soft click of a cassette being turned over by an unseen hand, then from the speakers, your name, not spoken, read, as though from a file, your full name, including the one you stopped using after the accident, the name only one person ever called you. You swallow. The seatbelt tightens slightly across your chest. The car slows, not from brakes, but from decision. Ahead, the road seems to narrow into a funnel of light, pale, blue, unwelcoming. You check the mirror. It no longer reflects the road behind, only the dash and the clock, still 3:33, still blinking, only now it's bleeding. A thin red line drips from the bottom of the display, not digital, real. It slides down the center console, You reach to wipe it, but your hand returns dry. The blood isn't yours. You exhale sharply. The radio responds with the sound of static melting, like wax, like time folding in on itself. Then a voice. The clock is what remembers you. You whisper, without knowing why. What happens if it stops? The fog thickens again. The car continues forward. The glove box clicks shut on its own. And the clock, still there, still blinking, still waiting, as if to say, you first. You only look because the silence changes. Not louder, not sharper, just misaligned. Like a note sung a half step flat by a voice that isn't breathing. You glance at the rearview mirror, instinctual. And it's wrong. Not cracked, not black, just off. It shows the road behind you, but the lines curve backward in slow arcs, spiraling where they should be straight. The trees lean in the opposite direction. The horizon twitches once, like film skipping a frame. Then the image stutters, freezes, resumes, freezes again. And in the pause, your reflection remains moving, your head tilts, but the mirror version doesn't follow. Instead, it blinks once, too slow, and smiles, just slightly. Then, from behind the glass, a hand reaches up, not toward you, but from within the reflection. It grips the steering wheel, the same one you're holding, except your hands aren't moving, but in the mirror, they are. Your reflection's fingers tighten, turning the wheel gently to the left. Your real wheel doesn't budge, but the car moves anyway. You feel it tilt. The lane shifts. Your tires drift onto the center line. The reflection watches, smiling now, not malicious, just curious, like trying on a jacket. You speak aloud. Stop. But your voice arrives in the mirror first, then in the cabin, then from the radio. Layered, distorted, familiar. The mirror flickers. And now you're not alone in the car. The passenger seat is full. A figure, slouched, calm, wearing your jacket, your shoes, your expression from 3 years ago, before the motel, before the accident, before you started forgetting what never happened. They don't look at you. They look at your reflection, which is now watching them. You grip the wheel tighter, force your eyes forward, but the motion in the mirror continues. Your reflection is driving with intention now, faster. A smirk just forming. The passenger reaches out, places their hand on the mirror's wheel, and your own fingers twitch in response. You shut your eyes. The car begins to hum. Not engine, but frequency. A tone. Like a tuning fork struck inside your memory. You open your eyes again. The mirror is normal. Empty. Just the back window. Just the fog. Just your hands. Alone again. But the seat beside you still smells like you. From the time when you were easier to carry. You don't look at them. Not at first. But you feel them. The way gravity bends slightly toward your right side. The way the seatbelt buckle has disappeared beneath something that weighs the shape of a person. The way the air smells. Not unfamiliar, but not yours. Like a shirt you wore once and forgot you left in someone else's drawer. The road stretches forward, kind, obliging, as if trying not to interrupt whatever's happening beside you. You keep your eyes on the lines, but your ears drift. There's breathing now, measured, uncontrolled, a little slower than yours. You match it, without meaning to, then it matches you back. Your mouth opens, nothing comes out, but from the passenger seat, a whisper. I never left. Not loud, not sudden, soft, like condensation forming in reverse. You glance sideways. A coat, yours, folded neatly over the figure's lap. A pair of hands beneath it, still, not hiding, just waiting. They don't speak again, but you hear it anyway. A song, not sung, just thought. And the tune is familiar. It's the one you used to hum on the way home from the hospital. The night it snowed too early. The night no one else remembered driving you. The radio hums faintly, uninvited, sinking to the rhythm of your pulse. Then theirs, then yours again. The figure turns their head slightly, enough for you to see their cheek, their mouth. They're mouthing something. You don't hear it, but you understand it. They're thinking what you're thinking, and that's what terrifies you most. You whisper, "Who are you?" They exhale. You feel the warmth drift across your collarbone. Their voice is yours. Older, maybe, or truer. I'm the version that never turned back. Outside, the road bends, but the headlights don't reach the curve. You drive into shadow, and the figure reaches across the console, not touching, just hovering. Their hand pauses above yours, not demanding, just asking. The car doesn't slow, but the road softens, becomes quieter, like it's listening now too. You feel your own hand rise, almost meeting theirs, and in the reflection on the passenger window, you see both of you. But only one of you blinks, and the one that doesn't, still smiling. You hear it before you feel it, the low, steady rumble of the engine. But something's off. The vibration doesn't come from beneath the floor. It comes from somewhere deeper, inside your spine, just behind your ribs, as though the motor has slipped into your skeleton and decided to reside there. You glance at the dashboard, still glowing, still intact, but as you run your fingers along the steering wheel, something curls inward beneath the leather, like breath, like tension, like the memory of movement instead of movement itself. You tap the gas, nothing changes. The road continues. The fog obeys, but the car doesn't feel present anymore. You look down. The pedals are gone. Your feet rest on flat metal, cool, smooth, indifferent. The seat beneath you is warm, but the warmth isn't electric. It's organic. You lean forward. There's no hood in front of you, no wipers, no dashboard, just the road. The windshield has dissolved into open air, but the outline remains, a phantom of glass, unbroken and unnecessary. You raise your hand. There's wind, but no sound. The engine hums louder now, surrounding you, not mechanical, but vocal. Not a machine, a presence, purring, waiting. The radio comes on, no click, no static, just a soft whisper. The car is gone, but the drive remains. You glance at the rearview mirror, still there, but mounted on nothing. It floats gently, as if tethered by memory alone. In its reflection, there's no vehicle, just a seat, just you, hovering, coasting down a road that may or may not exist beneath you. The glove box dangles open, no hinges, no latch, just open. As if the idea of closure has been abandoned, inside a single item, your license, but with a different photograph. One where you're older, or younger, or hollow. Your smile doesn't match your eyes. You slide the ID into your pocket. You don't remember having one. The passenger beside you has vanished, but the indentation remains. You look down. The floor is mist. Not metaphorically, literally. Swirling in slow spirals, glowing softly from some unseen light below. You can see your reflection in it, or what the road remembers of you. And somewhere beneath the hum of not engine, not car, not movement, you hear a voice say, "You're not driving?" You whisper, "Then who is?" The fog thickens, the seatbelt tightens, and the rear view flickers, just once, showing a hand gripping the wheel, but not yours. The road ahead brightens, not because the car illuminates it, but because your vision has changed. You blink and something stretches from your pupils, light. Two narrow beams cast forward into the fog. You raise a hand instinctively, shielding your face, but it doesn't help. The light isn't shining from the car, it's you. Your gaze pierces the dark like twin flashlights wired directly into your thoughts. Wherever you look, the shadows retreat, not in fear, in coordination, like they were waiting for you to see them. And now they move aside, respectfully. Your hands still grip the wheel, though it no longer resists or guides. It exists only to give you something to hold. Outside, the world shifts with your glance. A deer crosses the road ahead, but it has too many legs. It doesn't run, it glides. You track it with your eyes, and the beams follow, sweeping side to side, cutting deep into the trees and showing glimpses that shouldn't be visible. A motel hallway buried in leaves. A staircase curling downward into fog. A snow globe cracked in half, leaking breath. You blink hard. The beams falter, flicker, and return. Your vision is no longer yours. It's been borrowed by the road. Your eyes ache with brightness. A soft burning like staring too long at someone you used to be. The radio flicks on. A mechanical voice, too slow, too perfect. High beams enabled. Then a pause. Then the same voice again, but shaking. User override detected. You feel it now. Your pupils are dry, stretched wide, refusing to constrict. The light is eating your periphery. Your thoughts stretch too, thin and glimmering, spilling forward into places your body hasn't reached. The passenger seat grows darker by contrast. You try to turn your head, can't. Your sight is locked on the center of the lane. Ahead, a shape begins to form. Not an object. A doorway, outlined in rain, floating just above the asphalt, flickering, inviting, and written above it, drawn in light you can only read with these new eyes. You have been seen. You want to close them. But your eyelids won't respond. They've become part of the beam. The road begins to climb, and for the first time, you realize you can see the sky, not stars, not clouds, just a reflection of the road curling up toward you like a ribbon. You're entering the loop again, but now fully lit, now fully awake, and the voice inside your mouth says, Let there be no more darkness. Your tires make no sound now. They float, hover, glide, not on asphalt, but on something softer, something with texture. Not the texture of gravel or oil-stained concrete, but of thought, of remembrance. You look down instinctively, not with your eyes, but with your senses, and realize the road beneath you is no longer solid. It breathes, it pulses, it remembers. Every turn you've taken, every hesitation, every time you looked back when you promised yourself you wouldn't. You run your palm along the steering wheel. It hums beneath your skin, as though tracing old paths, reliving old drives. You see flashes, quick and stuttering, of streets that once existed. Your childhood cul-de-sac, the curve behind the school, the turn where your mother cried the first time she missed a birthday. And beneath all of it, this road, the one you're on now, older, patient, like a root system hidden under maps. The radio sparks once, no voice, just a sound like leaves being crushed under slow footsteps. Then, the sound of metal dragging across tar. A long, aching scrape. You don't stop. You glance to the right. In the fog beside the road, a shape drags itself alongside you. Not walking, following. It doesn't look at you, but its limbs echo your movements. When you breathe, it lifts a shoulder. When you blink, it hesitates. When your thoughts wander, it falls behind, then catches up again. The road beneath it doesn't ripple. It opens, softly, like welcoming back a familiar tread. You look back forward, and now you see them. Cracks, long, splintering fissures stretching ahead on the path, glowing faintly with orange light. They aren't hazards, they're veins. You run over them gently, and they vibrate in response, as if recognizing your tires, as if recognizing you. The dash flickers, and the screen that was once a clock now reads, "You have driven this before." You whisper, without planning to, "I forgot." The radio responds, not unkind. That was the toll. Then silence again. The glove box swings open. Inside, a map, hand-drawn. Lines curl across it like threads, looping, folding, overlapping. One word is scrawled in the center, me. The ink is still wet. You press your thumb to it. It smears. And where it does, on the actual road, you see the missed part. A memory opens. You don't enter. You re-enter. And the figure beside the car, it smiles. Because the road has remembered, even if you haven't. The road splits without asking. One lane curves left, marked with signs that have no words. Just arrows bending into themselves, recursive shapes that promise return without arrival. The other path drifts right, toward a building stitched into the fog like a memory repaired too many times. You take the right. You always do. The tires roll to a gentle stop in front of a structure half built, half decayed. It's a motel, or the ghost of one. Flat roof sagging, neon sign blinking out of order. Motel 0, it says. The 0 hangs lower than the rest, like it knows what it means. The vacancy sign glows softly beneath it, but it never shuts off. You open the car door. It doesn't creak. It exhales. The gravel beneath your shoes crunches with a sound that feels like paper. Specifically, your handwriting on old receipts, notes left on motel nightstands you've never checked out of. The lobby door swings inward. No hinges, no handle, just an invitation. Inside, silence wrapped in yellow light. A desk with no one behind it. A bell already mid-ring. You walk toward it. Your footsteps don't echo. They repeat. Somewhere, one step behind you. You reach the desk. There's no register, no logbook, only a mirror. Taped to it, a room key. You peel it off. Room 0. The hallway extends beyond the lobby, carpet stained with familiar shapes. Ones that look like shadows of people who once stood still too long. You follow the corridor. Each door bears a number, all different, but when you blink, they change. Now they all read 0. You stop in front of one at random. The key hums in your hand. You insert it. It turns. The door swings open. Inside, the room is already lit, not by lamps, by television static. A boxy screen buzzes in the corner, casting white glow across the bed, the walls, the mirror beside the sink. On the screen, a road. This road. Your road. Live. You walk forward. Your feet don't touch the carpet. You reach for the remote. There isn't one. You speak. Just one word. Your name. The TV responds by showing you in the driver's seat. Now. Breathing. But your eyes are closed. The image begins to slow. Freeze. Then, blink. The screen blinks. You blink. And now, the bed is occupied. By your coat, folded neatly, and beneath it, movement. You don't check. You already know what version of you is resting there. The one who stayed. The one who stopped. The one who checked in. You back away. Key still in hand. The room hums. It smells like yourself. Faded, trapped, still waiting. The door closes behind you without sound. You don't lock it. You don't need to. You already live there. The moment you step back outside, the road is gone. Not vanished. Absorbed. The parking lot beneath you ripples faintly, as though the lines are no longer paint but ink, freshly drawn and still deciding where they want to go. You glance downward, expecting pavement. Instead, you see paper, soft, fibrous, uneven, laid flat beneath your feet, stretching out in all directions like a scroll unrolling itself. You lift your shoe, and there, beneath the sole, is a symbol, a compass, not pointing north, pointing inward. You glance at your hands. The motel key is gone. In its place, a pen, old, cracked, ink dried in the creases. But when you raise it, it hums, it remembers. Your other hand aches. You pull back your sleeve. A line is already forming on your skin, thin, black, curving. It moves gently across your forearm, like it's being drawn by something just beneath the surface. A road, winding, looping. The pen in your hand presses itself into your palm. You let it go. It begins to write on its own. Your arm, your ribs, your throat. Every inch of you becomes charted. Not just paths, decisions. The routes you almost took. The exits you ignored. Every room, every stop. Every version of yourself folded tightly into ink. Your reflection in the motel window changes. No longer a face. Now, topography. hairlines replaced by highways, eyes replaced by check-in points, teeth by intersections, and a single red dot on your sternum blinking softly. You are here. You exhale, and the window fogs. A new message etches into the glass. Now, draw the way back. But you don't know where back is. The door to the motel swings open again. You didn't touch it. But someone walks out. Someone with your legs, your shoes, your gait, but they're looking forward, and you're still frozen. The ink curls tighter across your arms. Your veins itch with direction. And from somewhere below the parking lot, a rumble. Not mechanical, not natural, but narrative. The story is folding again. You are the road. You are the ink. You are the map others will follow. The pen lifts itself once more, and across your chest it writes, "Only one of us gets to leave." The motel dissolves behind you, not in fire or fog, but in silence. Like the building was never physical, just a sound waiting to end. And now, as your tires roll gently back onto the road, if it can still be called that, the silence is replaced by something soft, melodic, familiar. A voice, whispering lullabies through a broken intercom. The speaker must be miles away, or inches from your ear. It's impossible to tell. The tone is warped by decades of static, worn by rain, softened by sleep. It hums the melody of the hallway light back home, the one that buzzed when you were 6, the one your mother never fixed. You remember now how she would hum just beneath it, voice barely louder than the bulb's flicker. Now that voice plays through the vents, no lyrics, just breath and comfort stretched into notes. But each line ends wrong, a key too sharp, a rhythm that doesn't quite resolve. The music turns inside itself, like a memory turning over in bed. You speak without meaning to. That's not how she sang it. The intercom cuts off. A pause. Then that same voice. Older, colder, mechanical now. Then, remember it better. You grip the wheel. There's no resistance. The road is a sheet beneath you. Smooth, blank, waiting. Then the intercom returns. Now louder, crackling. Not a lullaby now. It's your name, over and over, looping, but not said, sung, stretched syllables, bent vowels. The name you forgot in a dream 2 years ago and never recovered. Your hands shake. The dashboard glows white. The speedometer doesn't move. The clock still reads 3:33, now blinking rapidly. Then it pauses, freezes, and a new message appears. The room is still occupied. You don't ask which room. You already know. You check the mirrors. Empty. Then, a flicker in the back seat. A child's drawing appears taped to the glass. A crayon house. Stick figures. A road looping around the edge of the page. And written above it, "Don't sleep yet. She's not done talking." The intercom breathes again, then hums softer, quieter, slower. The lullaby returns, now unfinished, now tender, now yours. It starts with a pop, soft, almost polite. kind of sound a mirror makes when it stops pretending. You glance upward. The rear view has split, not shattered, peeled, as though a seam has opened along the centre line, like a mouth learning how to speak your shape. From within, a glow, not light, snow, tiny flakes drifting outward from the opening, like memories too cold to melt. They float into the cabin, not landing, not vanishing, just hovering, suspended in air too thick with quiet. You reach up instinctively. The glass is warm. The snow passes through your fingers like dust. On the other side of the split, a scene, flat, grey, a field covered in frost, stretching toward a sky the colour of forgotten lullabies. In the centre of that field, your childhood boots, the ones with the crack near the sole, the duct tape wrapped around the left cuff. They stand alone, no footprints behind them, no path forward, just boots, waiting. You whisper, "I lost those." And the mirror answers, your voice slowed by static. They were never yours. You try to pull your gaze back to the road, but your hands have left the wheel. You didn't notice them go. They rest now in your lap, open-palmed, like apology. The car continues forward on rails made of memory, and behind you, in that fractured mirror world, a figure appears. They walk through the frost without disturbing it. No crunch beneath their feet, no breath from their mouth. They wear your coat, the older one, the one you threw away after the fire. They carry nothing, but you feel the weight of something returning. They reach the boots. They don't step into them. They kneel, press their hands into the snow, and the field bends, folds upward, becomes paper, becomes map. You blink, and the mirror seals again. The snow is gone, but your hands are damp, not from cold, from recognition. You grip the wheel again. Your reflection returns, but it's off by a second. Still kneeling, still folding, still trying to draw a path you never meant to walk. The road levels out again, too perfect, too precise, like it's been drawn with a ruler made of breath. You feel it before you see it. A tremor beneath your ribs, a pressure behind your eyes. A moment folding itself twice, once for the memory and once for the mirror. Then the headlights catch it. Another car, stopped, middle of the lane. Same shape, same rust, same crack in the windshield where a pine cone fell in the autumn you forgot to remember. You ease off the gas, but the car does not slow. It approaches with gravity, not speed, as though the distance itself is collapsing between you. And then you see them, perched on the hood of that car, facing you, waving. They wear your face, but younger, eyes too wide, smile too still, like it's been practiced in reflections you no longer trust. They don't move, they wait. You try the brake, the pedal sinks into nothing, just memory foam and fog. The radio clicks on, no static this time, only your voice, whispering. You left them here. They grew in your absence. The figure waves again, slower now, like a farewell or a warning. The fog parts just enough to show their hands resting on the hood. In each palm, lines, your lifelines, etched, burned, matching the ones you tried to unlearn. You veer left. The road does not agree. It coils instead, places the stopped car directly in your path again. But now they're standing, arms open, a gesture you've never made without flinching. You scream, but no sound leaves your mouth. The horn blares, but it's their voice that comes through. You'll drive this stretch until you wave back. You grip the wheel harder. Your teeth ache. The tires scream across the surface, even though the car doesn't move. Then they blink once, and the lights go out. All of them. No dashboard, no mirror, no stars. Just the hum of the engine, just the beat of your own fear. And then headlights return, dim. You're alone again. The other car is gone, but a note is tucked into the vent, folded, crisp, dry. You open it, one sentence, wave next time. You crumple it, but it doesn't wrinkle. It folds itself back, neatly, lovingly, back into your hand. The sign appears out of nowhere, jutting from the fog like a forgotten rule spoken in a whisper too late. Black letters on a pale green board. Do not honk. No explanation. No penalty listed. Just the command. Direct, quiet, final. You ease off the accelerator. Not because you intend to obey it, but because your thumb is hovering over the center of the wheel, like it knew before you did. The road narrows ahead, just enough to matter, just enough to force decision. Your headlights catch something further down the shoulder. Another sign, smaller, tilted, graffiti smudged. You squint, honk if you forget. Below it, scratched into the metal, honk if you remember. You grip the wheel tighter, your knuckles pale. The horn button feels warm, as though recently touched. But your other hand twitches. You want to press it. The car leans into the curve without you. It knows the shape now. You've driven it enough. You look ahead, and there, just before the bend, sits something in the center of the road. Not a person, not a deer. A shape, cloth draped, almost like a child's birthday chair. Plastic, tied with one balloon. The balloon reads, "Make a wish." You reach for the horn, but stop. The radio crackles once, then a voice, familiar, soft. If you honk, they know you're awake. The glove box opens on its own. Inside, a single candle, half burned, still warm. You look up again. The chair is gone. Only the balloon remains, tethered to nothing, drifting beside your window. You don't honk. You drive on, and the road breathes again, relieved. But behind you, far off, you hear it. One short blast, a horn, from someone else. Someone who didn't read the sign. The fog behind you shudders, and you know without knowing how that something has stepped out. Onto the road, following, not fast, just aware now. You check the mirror, it doesn't reflect, only displays one word. Shh. The balloon pops softly, not with sound, with memory, and the echo it leaves behind. Your voice years ago, laughing, right before it all started again. The sound begins before you feel it. A hush, not silence, but something beneath it. Like the air has been peeled open, and now the wind can enter from somewhere older than weather. Your passenger side window unseals itself. Just a crack. A hiss of pressure released. A sigh from a throat not your own. You don't move. because the air that seeps in is not cold. It's curious, thick with scent, not of pine or rain or exhaust, but dust and static, old television smell, carpet that once held footprints, the exact chemical trace of a motel pillow you didn't mean to fall asleep on. You glance toward the mirror. It shows nothing now, not even road, just fog curling in like fingers around your face. And then, from the window, a voice. Not loud, not whispered, but close, right beside your ear. It's time. The back door unlocks. No one gets in, but the seat folds slightly, as if pressure is now distributed across your memories. The seatbelt tightens. Not on you, on them. You feel the presence now. Not threatening, not foreign, but inevitable. They've been riding along all this time, waiting, growing. Your eyes blur, not with tears, with recognition. You reach for the volume knob, but the radio has been off for hours. Still, sound fills the cabin. A slow, rising hum. Not engine, not voice. Midnight. Not a time, not a moment. A personality. And tonight, it has decided to say hello. You glance toward the passenger seat. You expect to see a shadow. But what you see is yourself. Not mirrored, not copied, just softened. Like who you might have become if you'd taken the exit you weren't supposed to miss. They look at you. They nod once. They don't need to speak. You understand. You've reached the end of the loop. Not the story. The gesture. The ritual of the drive. One last inhale. And then, from every speaker, your voice saying something you don't remember recording. Turn off your high beams. You do. And the fog parts. Just slightly. Just long enough for the road to bow forward. A ribbon pulled loose from sleep. The light fades so slowly, it feels like forgetting. Not a flick, not a cut. Just a gentle softening, like eyelids at the edge of the dream. Like a voice winding down a bedtime story before the last page is ever turned. Your high beams extinguish, and the world exhales. The fog, no longer a wall, becomes a blanket. It wraps the road, cushions the wheels, muffles the sound of your breath until even that becomes someone else's memory. You don't need the headlights anymore, because the road is glowing now. Not with brightness, with familiarity. Every curve knows your weight. Every bump adjusts beneath your tires, smoothing itself before you feel it. The lines are gone, but your hands don't leave the wheel. You're still holding on, even as it becomes unnecessary. Even as the motion continues without you. You blink once, and the passenger seat is empty again. But not abandoned. You reach across and place your hand on the fabric. Warm, still warm. Outside the window, the fog parts just enough to show a motel sign. No words, just a single blinking light. Not red, not white. A colour you can't name, but one you've always associated with rest. You pass it, don't slow. Don't need to. The dashboard is blank. No speed. No time. No destination. Only the hum. Only the gentle vibration that tells you you're still on the road, but you're no longer steering. The glove box opens once more. Empty now. Clean. As if you've unpacked everything you were carrying and left it all behind. The radio doesn't play. But a melody drifts in from nowhere. Not sound, just shape. The shape of your name whispered by someone who forgave you long before you asked. You close your eyes, not to sleep, to settle. because you know now. The road doesn't take you somewhere. It holds you. Like hands cradling a child back into the dream they slipped out of. Like a story that knows its final sentence and lets you hear it just once. In the rear view mirror, your face is gone, replaced by mist. And that's when you understand. You've stopped being the driver. You've stopped being the passenger. You're the road now, stretching forward, into fog, into silence, into rest. You drift, no longer held by story or shape or voice. Only sleep remains, and silence, waiting. There is no road here, no engine, no mirror, no you, just the memory of motion. A hum beneath the world, soft and endless, where headlights become candlelight and asphalt becomes lullaby. Somewhere far away, or maybe just before, a version of you still drives, unaware the map has folded itself closed. They do not need to know. The fog will carry them. The tires will remember where you turned. The glove box will hold their name until it fades back into static. And when they reach this part, this gentle edge, they too will be released. You are not gone. You are not arriving. You are looping, but not lost. Not anymore. The suitcase is unpacked. The room key has dissolved. The rear view is blank. And the voice on the radio, it has stopped waiting because it knows you've made it. At last, let the others come behind you now. Let them find your path, soft beneath their wheels. Let them listen. Let them close their eyes. The road does not end. It rests. And you become the hush that follows it, the lull, the warmth left in the seat, the dream someone else will fall into soon, and never question. Good. Sleep. Sleep now. End of script. Sweet dreams.